Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We're just going to hang out here for a little while, um, let everybody have an opportunity to join the live stream, and then we'll get going. Welcome on in, Jill Moser. Today we're going to be going over the Abby and Libby double homicide out of Delphi, Indiana. Most of you are very familiar with this case. Welcome in, Tina Stair. Appreciate that. Sees through. Jamie, what's up? My guy Anthony, how you doing? Nana's Gmail, Julianne. What's up, Dash? True Crime Housewife, Witchcraft, Mevin, Cindy, Ziggy, Jody, Patricia. Welcome on in, guys. And let's just remind everybody that's joining us now, this is all about justice for Abby and Libby. And we know convicting an innocent man does not equal justice for Abby and Libby whatsoever. So we get that, right? We get that part, guys. We understand that. We understand the tragedy that that would be for Richard Allen to be falsely accused. I'm just saying I don't think that's what's happening. And today, I think I want to focus in on the stuff that was being said about Patrick Westfall and Brad Holder's ex-wife, Amber. There's a couple things that came to mind. One was loyalties change, right? We always talk about how throughout the length of an investigation, loyalties may change, relationships may change, right? So we understand when Amber was married to Brad, that's when Brad told her these things. She's no longer married to Brad. So now her loyalties have changed and she may be more likely to come forward. And then you have the angle of, well, she's not lying. Amber's not lying, but Brad may be lying. He seems to be pointing the finger at Patrick Westfall. So I definitely want to touch on that today. Those are just some of the things that are on my mind. Also, when we talked to, we had a Jesse from Midgard Musings on, and he's an expert on Norse paganism. And he said, well, if those are runes, if what I'm looking at are runes, it looks like amateur hour. Well, one thing we know about Mr. Holder, he kind of was an amateur. He just started, I think, in 2016, and I could be mistaken. But I just from looking at his information that was provided through Facebook, 2016 seems to be when he was doing things with sticks and talking a whole lot about runes and fellowship and getting together. So what about that angle? What about a Brad Holder, Richard Allen angle? And let's blame it on Patrick Westfall. Chris Owen says, "Who's that in the photos? The faces that are blacked out. Those are the three witnesses, two on camera. I believe the third taking the photo." What's up, Amelia? Missing. Cindy says, "Seems like he wanted to be like Patrick Westfall for whatever reason." Well, something else kind of stood out to me. Um, I think it was Bob Mata. He might have been kind of um, reading off his notes, and he was talking about Amber's testimony and how she said that Patrick Westfall was trying to convince Brad Holder to move from animals onto something much bigger. Now, I feel like this is more bait social media troll cheese, but we're not going to overlook it, right? And the reason I say it could be troll cheese is because of everything we seen with the bones and structures out in the woods and what we hear from Eric Williams. I might have something on that. So I feel like they're feeding into that. Or or maybe it's just more proof of that. Okay, let me show you, maybe I'll show you the photos for those of you who have not seen these. Just bear with me a moment. I got to share my screen. Alrighty. So these have been around for quite some time. So I don't know if this Amber's confession, along with what she's saying Brad Holder said to her, I don't know if this is all tying in with this stuff. You know, and the only reason I say that is because I'm going to show you Eric Williams and what he had to say about it. He said this is, about 400 yards from the crime scene. And he said something, he used the word practicing. He said, somebody's been practicing for a long time. They must have moved from animals to people. So I don't know if they're trying to feed into the buzz on that or if it's actually kind of giving it some weight here. But still, this hasn't even been verified. I don't know if Eric Williams has verified that these photos are exactly what he's seen. Good to see you, Jamie. Shout out to Solar Chef Steph for gifting 5 Sleuth Intuition memberships. Thank you. Good to see you, Melissa, Lisa. Good job, guys. CJK, Randy, good to see you, my dude. Chris Owens, who is in the photo? Why are the faces blacked out? Don't worry about it. Cool your jets, bud. It's getting my phrases mixed up. What's up, Nanos? Jesse Z, Phil Bond, Lisa. First off, girls found in the water. 3 hours later, found feet from the bank. Who moved them? Who staged them? What's up, Cindy? Anthony, hooked up with the membership. Good to see you, Grizz. What's going on? Nice videos you've been putting up. Missing and unsolved. Wanda. We did a couple live streams on these about a year or two ago. And these were floating around on Reddit when I found them. CJK, Miracle Hearts, Bonnie Brown. Good to see you. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Melissa. I hope everything's okay. What's up, Angela? What's going on, Cheeks? It's all hearsay. Through from his ex-wife. So what she says is a little meh. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to dismiss it because we always talk about the telltale signs, right? And things that we hope for, and we hope for changes in loyalty. Is that what we have here? I mean, why would she go out of her way? I don't think she's lying. If anybody's lying, it's Brad. That's what makes me suspicious. And if Brad has any knowledge, he probably has involvement. So it doesn't make sense for him to implicate Patrick Westfall because he would be implicating himself, right? So I feel like he's trying to do like a Keegan Kline when Keegan Kline was trying to throw his father under the bus. You know why? Maybe like it's almost like deflecting. So Amber's telling the truth. Now, is Brad telling the truth or is he lying? And if he is lying, why is he lying? Is he trying to inject himself? And how would he know anything about the sticks? Did he already have inside information from a leak or something? Did he have inside information because he helped create the crime scene? Is he just telling a lie? I mean, I'm a little bit confused. Or is the defense, or is I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get this whole part. I'm very curious to hear what you guys have to say about it. So here, let me play this little video. Now, this is an old conversation between, I think, some web sleuth and Eric Williams. I mean, I think this is from like 2018 or maybe even before that. Okay. So I think this is the name of the podcast or the YouTube channel, Deconstructing Delphi. Like, what the hell is that? Meaning what? And he says, I am the loudest person you will ever talk to. Nothing I say is private. Oh, this must be a Facebook group. Okay, I have a Facebook group called Deconstructing Delphi where we look at all of the facts from this case and discuss different scenarios and possibilities. Excuse me. I've been very passionate about trying to find justice for those two beautiful girls. The only family member in my group is Carrie because I believe she has been treated terribly. I agree with that. Shout out to Carrie. I want to support her any way that I can. I live in Fort Wayne. I used to run a very large furniture store for 10 years, but due to health issues, my foot, ankle, had to resign. Yada, yada. Little background on the creator. See what Eric has to say. Honey, I hate to say it, but you will never find the truth because it's a cover up. And that's what they're saying now. The defense team, that's their whole theory. Because it's a cover up, the sheriff and every law enforcement agent in Carroll County is dirty as they come. But what do you want to know? He's like, just so you know where I stand. Tell me about what you saw and why do you think this has been covered up? And it's very interesting what he says here. Was on Brad Weber's land. Yeah, wasn't it just like remnants of hunting? Because they got deer stands down there. I'm sure they're doing all kinds of hunting back there. And if it's his land, it's legal, right? Pretty sure. So I don't think that what Eric Williams is saying has anything to do with those images. I don't think anybody's been able to prove that yet, but it could be. So Eric says piles of animal bones, skulls hanging in trees, fresh tracks leading from the creek to the house on top the hill. A bunch of cops and firemen had no concern when I told them what I saw. In fact, that they tried to stop me from crossing the bridge. The fact that I was a suspect that got called and tried to interview me over the phone, but I told them to kiss my ass. They got pissed and sent 2 cops to pick me up for questioning. And the cops couldn't even find my house with the proper address. I call them out every chance I get, and then some. Not one official in that county likes me. I am the loudest and the proudest around, and I speak my mind no matter who it's to. They say the animal bones. Was this at the crime scene or nearby? Are you friends with Carrie? Eric, yes, it was about 1,000 yards or so from the bridge and farther back. And yes, I'm friends with Carrie. Her brother and I are best friends. Did you live in Delphi at the time? No. So this area of animal bones was near the site where the girls were found. When you saw this, what went through your mind? That someone has been practicing for a long time. So that's what reminded me of this old video here. So when I watched that clip of Bob Mata and he was kind of going over his notes and he said that she was told by Brad Holder that Patrick Westfall wanted to move on from animals and onto something else, right? Humans, we're assuming. And then we hear what Eric Williams says that someone has been practicing for a long time. And I've actually heard a lot of really smart people say that somebody was probably working their fantasies out on animals first. So that's what made me think of that. But you get the gist. What's up, little one? Vertigo, how are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Congrats, Amelia, on your membership. This will do nicely. Good evening. No, Chris, calm down with the photo. Mary C, I'm a little late, but hello. Hello. What year are these photos? I'm not quite sure. Cheeks. Sleuth intuition. I never underestimate the people factor of what someone says and what someone hears. Never the same thing. Exactly. Um, we have no proof, but it's very interesting. We don't want to overlook anything, but we don't want to go jumping, feet first either. But those are the things that I found interesting, and those are the reasons why. Because we know that loyalties change. At least we hope they do throughout time. We hope that that'll benefit any of these missing persons cases or these murder cases, right? That the only reason they're going unsolved is because somebody's keeping a secret. Loyalties can change and those people might talk. So is that what's going on with Amber? And even if she is talking, her source, consider the source, right? It's Brad Holder. But if what he's saying about sticks being laid over top of girls, that's extremely interesting. And if he's making up a story like that, either he has firsthand knowledge of the crime scene, firsthand knowledge of early leaks, which he could, him being so close to the case in an early POI, he could have been communicating with these leakers and been exposed, had prior knowledge, or he is trying to put the blame on Patrick Westfall and possibly him and Richard Allen had a connection. Weren't they both going to church? I don't know. I'm curious to hear what you have to say about it. I don't know, Chris. I really don't know. I do not know. I'm just convinced that Richard Allen is the man on the bridge. Was he helping with some ritual? Don't know. Was he helping with alongside another person who just happened to leave runes and not do a very good job at it? Yeah, I'm just really not sure at this point. The only thing I'm convinced of is that Richard Allen is on the bridge, and we can't really be 100% sure of that. Oh, what's up, Willow Rain? Flexing the 24 months. Thank you so much. Been rocking this channel for 2 years. Cindy. Oh, yeah. Randy says the Brad Weber home. And the thing is Eric Williams talks about quad tracks. Well, there should be quad tracks. There's people, have been searching. Now, if he got there around 4 o'clock and saw quad tracks, that'd be very interesting. Cindy says many people thought law enforcement officer was initially involved because of the control factor of the girls was not yet known. Yeah, that's awesome, Anthony. What's up, Audrey? Okay, so the experts that we talked to stated if it is runes, it was amateur hour. Well, I think that falls. I think Brad Holder would fall into that, right? He's going to church, going to meetings with the crew. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Sees through. Does anybody find it interesting who else law enforcement were talking to the day they asked Rick to come in for an interview? I know Lucas was one, and he was also at the 2019 New Direction presser. James Lucas. They said they took his phone. Jamie says you can't trust Bob. Yeah, I know I can't. He's admitted he's biased. I'm defense team all the way or whatever. But it's still interesting to get to hear the account, the witness testimony. Very interesting. I don't know what to make of it. The human factor is heavy with this whole case. Everybody seems to be motivated to skew things a little bit. It's like 10 different horses pulling the truth in 10 different directions. His reporting has already been called out as BS, and the news articles I read today show a pattern of this type of fuckery. Well, he's not trying to hide it, that's for sure. What's up, Mother of Dragons? Welcome in. Abby's grandma sponsoring today's live stream with the super chat. Hello. Good to see you. Let's go to Curtis. To me, staging means creating a crime scene to distract people from the real cause or person involved in the crime. So the ruins are part of the staging to me. Well, that's not the only reason you stage. Sometimes staging is anything you're doing after the fact. Even if you didn't like the way the body fell, you're like, oh, I'm just going to make them look a little more presentable. You've just staged the crime scene. Or you're like, I don't like the way the arm fell. That looks weird. I don't like the arm bent behind my victim's back. I'm going to move that. So you now just staged the crime scene. And that's exposed a little bit about who you are as a person. But yeah, some people do it to shock. But yeah, one of the main reasons is to mislead. And one is just to communicate or leave a message. Yeah, and I'm not sure if those are runes, Curtis. That's where I get caught up. Sees through. I mean, the day that they served the warrant, and I could be wrong on this, but I believe they found Kathy before Rick. Yeah, I'm sure we could figure that out, but I do know they interviewed them separately at first. Posing is different from staging. No, posing is part of the staging. Cold truth. Good to see you, Mel. Non-court reporters reporting on court. Keeping out bias is extremely hard. Yep. Perception of court proceedings is what we're seeing. Yeah, through a filter. That is true. The human factor. Such a big part of every equation, I think. All right, we'll go ahead and hook you guys up here. Feeling generous. So it looks like Devoted. Good to see you. Candace Fonseca. Hello, it's me. Coach Kev, what up? Emmy Sue, all were gifted a membership by yours truly. Cindy says, lone wolf, potential co-mingling. Okay. I like where you're going. As you noted, the human factor has us looking for any reason, in my opinion. We all do it. Yeah, the co-mingling is big. And I have really no facts or real proof to back that up. That's just intuition right there. Some kind of inappropriate relationship as well. I don't know where that is, and I don't know between who. What's up, Hiawatha? Cheek says people cannot just get out of their own feelings. It's human nature, honestly. Yeah, it really is. When we get something in our heads, we think we're right and don't like to be fought on it. Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the ego too. Mel says it's very interesting to me anyway. I've watched all sides. When you do that, find what is consistent. Dana, glad you're keeping the focus on Abby and Libby. Thanks for what you do. You're welcome. I think justice will come. I think they'll get justice. I believe that. Sees through says, from what we have been told up till now, neither of Rick's timelines work for me. I don't know. The timeline works perfect for me. Let me go ahead and show you the timeline I put together. It even has the phones that were recently mentioned in the geofencing. And we've known who those folks were from the very beginning. I think some of them may have even signed in that day at the trail because there's a sign in sheet. Dang, it's time to get organized again. Okay, so you got RV, BW, and AS, two of the girls that are seen in the thumbnail that I attached to today's live stream. So the timeline pretty much starts around the 1248 mark because we can prove that they were at, around that area because they have the photograph with the timestamp on it. Squeaky Will, what's up? I keep hearing chatter about Richard Allen accepting a plea deal. I think he will because it's obvious they don't want to go to trial. Does anybody know if McClellan has even offered a plea deal? Richard Allen can't accept a deal that hasn't been offered to DP still on the table. Yeah, I doubt that he's even been offered one. But when that moment in time comes, the prosecution and defense will both know. It'll be clear to both of them that it's deal time. That'll either be when new information comes forward or when everything becomes clear to both sides and time is out, right? Right now, the game is to taint the jury pool and bring everything into the social media Thunderdome. Try to shake something loose as far as a technicality. Penny says, didn't they interview the family of the guy walking the dog the morning of the murders about the same time they were interviewing Richard Allen? I don't know. That might even be Jesse. And I don't know, did Richard Allen ever say whether or not he had his dog with him? I doubt it. I mean, what's he gonna do? Tuck it in his jacket? Yeah, good to see you, Coach Cap. Elaine, welcome in. It would be interesting to know if Richard Allen ever went to the bridge before looking for a victim. We don't know, but it is stated that in the leaked memorandum that he did frequent those trails. And if he's a fantasy driven killer, that would make a whole lot of sense. Even if if it was premeditated, right? Why Delphi? Why the girls? Why the bridge? Well, if he frequents the trails, that may be the reason why he planned to murder there. He could have thought to himself, well, this would be a great place to commit a murder. I mean, he did get away for 6.5 years. You're welcome, Boston. Sees through says it would be great if you could make a timeline like this, but at 12 to 1:30. I can't. This is the timeline that works. How am I going to make it at 12:30 when it doesn't fit? It would be impossible. The girls say they left the bridge at around 12:48, and they took another picture around I don't know, 1:26 at the last bench. So you can't make anything fit without those two things working. What's up, Frank? Cheek says it actually made my stomach drop when I saw him walking to them in that. Yeah, I mean, this timeline should be pretty accurate. The only thing interesting about this timeline is that it does have Richard Allen and the group leaving pretty much around the same time. So the folks that were around the bridge, like they all kind of left like within probably 20, 30 minutes of each other. Regards to the term staging, you just described it the best. Squeaky says, I'm glad the trial will be in less than 60 days. Yeah, we're getting close. If there is going to be some kind of a deal, we're getting close. Right now, we're still going through all of these weird arguments, and I don't know. It's like they're trying to play catch up. But once all that's said and done and the cards are on the table, we'll see a deal. We'll either go to trial, but they don't have enough to make that assessment yet. But once they are, both sides will know damn well that it's time. Either we're asking for one, we're giving signs that we would like one. Um, we may give something as a good faith gesture. I just don't think there's been that aha moment yet. Not from the prosecution and not from the defense, which means it most likely will go to trial. But there's just so much that as far as discovery and things that haven't been handed over. That's a good question, Tweezy. We don't hear about him in the timeline. We only really hear about him as of recently and also in the Delphi Lost documentary behind the scenes. Recording. 'Cause, 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 ' Okay, so if you're just joining us, then we'll probably hang out another maybe 15, 20 minutes. Um, as far as Amber and her coming forward and her testimony, is she being honest? I believe so. And if so, why is Brad Holder telling her these things? How does he know about the sticks? Is this story even true? Can it be verified? Also, the experts that we were able to talk with said if these are ruins, it's amateur hour. And we know that Brad Holder was, in fact, an amateur when it comes to Odinism. Thank you, Peace Train. Good to see you, Cody. Jamie says, figure around and find out. Hiawatha says, how did Elvis know about the sticks? Well, Elvis never mentioned anything about sticks. He said something about horns. And antlers and horns are not the same thing. So if he gave her horns, it would most likely be two sticks pointing out like horns. Very obvious. But what was actually present at the crime scene was just sticks, which you're going to find in the forest anyway, right? And just because they're desperate to make this narrative fit doesn't mean that there aren't nuggets of truth in there, even if they know it or not. And like I said, we need to be careful because one thing that I've figured out is that McClelland's prosecution is the every defense. It doesn't matter what the defense says. They could say, "Oh, well, it was family and friends committed this." They could say it was a ritualistic killing. They could say, "Well, we thought it was ritual, but really it was just Richard Allen and Brad Holder." It doesn't matter what they say because all the prosecution is going to do is say Richard Allen is the guy on the bridge. We can prove that, and we know if it wasn't for him attacking them, confronting them, just being the guy on that video, right? This would have never happened. So it doesn't matter if there was a ritual. If they can prove that, the prosecution is going to say, thank you. Thank you for helping us with our investigation because we were wondering that other part of this. We didn't know if it was Ron Logan. We didn't know if it was Odinism. We didn't know if it was the Webbers. We didn't know. But thank you for conducting that investigation. Now we know the other half of the other side of what happened. One side being Richard Allen and the other side being what you just helped us prove. Be tough to go up against that. Oh, we got the 9-month flex. Hiawatha says, right. It's up to McClelland to prove Allen's guilt. Yep, he's going to do that. He's going to do that with the witnesses, the timeline, the PCA, the bullet, Richard Allen himself and his confessions. And I'm sure there's some things that have been presented to the defense that they haven't leaked or they definitely don't want out. And we know that the prosecution's staying tight-lipped anyway. So there may be a few things that we haven't seen also. I wouldn't say smoking gun or bombshell, but things that are not good for Richard Allen. Squeaky Well says, I think Elvis, Holder, Westfall, and the rest of them heard bits and pieces of information from the original search crew members and then embellished things to inject themselves. I don't know if that's what they're doing. I just know that they could be. That the human element, the motivation, a personal motivation, maybe even just to skew the truth. to tell a story that may not be true. Michael B. Sleuth, you are so good at what you do here on this channel. Thanks. It's interesting. And even despite the subject matter, it's relaxing to listen to, if that makes sense. Yes, people come to fall asleep. Clear eyes. Do you think we will ever know the full story? This, I hope so. I hope so. When Richard Allen comes looking for that plea deal, I hope that's one of the stipulations. Like, you need to tell us why. Why did you do this? They'll say, the fact that you did this, you made Patrick Viaho start a YouTube channel. Now we're stuck with him. So just another byproduct. The nuclear fallout. Good to see you, Christine. What's up, Diane? The man on the bridge has a lip now. Someone had said the person on the bridge has hurt foot. Hurt foot with a lip? They are sure trying to get the digital data, etc., thrown out for it having no connection to him. Yeah, I wonder if they found anything. Plus, I'm super curious about the search. I mean, whether or not that has anything to do with Keegan Kline, I mean, it definitely has something to do with Richard Allen, right? Or does it? And how would a search lead to a lost tip narrative? Most likely something digital. What's up, ATS? Good to see you. Monica, what makes you think there is going to be a plea deal? Because from everything that I see from the defense, they don't plan to take this to trial. They're looking for a technicality issue. They're looking to get him off on a technicality. And they're going to push it as far back as they can. And don't forget, they can still delay the speedy trial. Richard Allen still has that ability. But when all the time is up and all the cards are on the table, there's no more checking, no more betting. I'm almost positive. If they plan to go forward with this current strategy, 100% they'll plea out, in my opinion. But this could be a distraction, like a red herring. Thank you, Yankee Ghost. Appreciate that. Sorry, I'm just messaging my wife. Says she wants Jimmy John's. Okay. So let me go to a Yankee. Do you think Richard Allen is a lone wolf? I think he is, yes. I think he is a lone wolf. But I'm keeping an open mind, and I think it's very possible that there could be others involved. What's up, Ziggy? Dean Johnson, welcome. Welcome in. Squeaky says, let's talk about a plea deal for a minute. Exactly what kind of plea deal would it be? Life in prison with no chance of parole? Believe they can completely exonerate this guy. Like I said, I don't believe they think they can exonerate this guy. I don't think that they think he's guilty, but I know that their case is not their battle is not in the trial. It's not in that courtroom. It's in social media, and hopefully they can taint things so much that when the appeal comes around, they might have a fighting chance. Now, if we're lucky, they won't make it to trial. We won't have to worry about that because he'll admit to what he's done in detail. Good to see you, Ziggy. Cold truth. I think the defense is looking beyond guilty or innocent at this point. They know they're creating a paper trial, straight to appeal. Yep, there you go. So, plea deal is the best thing for us. It's the best thing I think for the entire situation. For Richard Allen to, if he's guilty, to come forward, say what he did, explain the motive, so that the family can get closure. Peace Train says once the speedy trial is on the calendar, doesn't have to be an exceptional event to stop it, like pleading guilty. Yep, I plead guilty. Because the thing is we still have a window for the death penalty. Now, my guess is as soon as they put the death penalty on the table, that might force the plea because that will be his opportunity to put everything to rest. You know, remorse is a big thing, I think, for a death penalty case. But I also think that the burden of proof might need to be a little more exasperated. As of yet, has death penalty been discussed? I know it's been discussed, and I'm not exactly sure when it has to be petitioned. I'm not sure. Randall says, I agree he's a lone wolf. He most likely is a lone wolf. There's just certain things that I can't get over. The pre planning of it all, the timing of it, um, the search, Keegan Klein going to Grissom the same day the search started. And then after having that meeting, you have Richard Allen 4 weeks into the river search being, a lost tip narrative being handed over to law enforcement. And then eventually, a few weeks after that, Richard Allen's arrested. Can't get over that. Is it proof? No. Does it mean anything? I don't know. It's just very interesting. It's hard to ignore. Kind of like the whole stuff that's going on with Amber. And if that information is true, the only problem is everything that comes from the defense is usually seems scripted and just really just not based in reality. All right, guys, this is going to be our 5-minute warning. What's up, Jerry? What's up, Laura? Dean Johnson. Baldwin and Rosie will smash Nikki. I don't know what that means. Christine, I remember Thomas Bruce. They tried to say the search warrant was illegal. He was denied his medication, etc. The defense job to cause doubt. Yeah, it's defense 101. They're doing it right now with Rex Heuermann. That's their defense, that somebody else was committing the crime. Dean Johnson, why are you so afraid of trial? What makes you think I'm afraid of trial? I think that the defense team is afraid of a trial. That's the whole reason I don't think that's why I think they're going to plea. Has nothing to do with afraid. Getting troll vibes from Dean. Keep an eye on that guy. Thinking about Baldwin running his office like it's 1987 makes me think the advice he got was all about using social media, which puts an angle in the leak from his office. Yeah, I'll agree with that, Humanimal. I think you're right. I'd say if McClellan is able to obtain his mental health records, which include having chats with the doctor and nurses, not only confessing but explaining why he did this, would be super huge. Yeah, and that's going to be admissible too because it's involving children. Think it protects. I think it's outside of HIPAA for that. So if he said something about that, they're able to talk about it, and that's why they want those records so they can get a detailed information about his. Apparently, he explained his motive. So pretty sure we'll be seeing a plea very soon, guys. KK got this plural. I would not forget about KK, so now we will see if Richard Allen wants a plea deal. I hope this is solved soon for the families. I think it will be. I think that's what this is all about, is just the clock running down. You know, do we have any more Hail Marys? Is there any tricks up our sleeves? Once that's all said and done, that's when it'll either be a deal or we'll go to trial. Vis, if he gets off, do you think he will write a book or do interviews? If he gets off, I don't know. There would have to be something breaking. Like they would have to put this group of people that they're trying to accuse at the crime scene. Like that would be huge. Yeah, pushing an evil narrative. Yeah, mods, keep an eye on this Dean guy. I'm getting weird vibes from him. The Saint. People need to stop feeding this Odin crap. Well, I wouldn't say feeding it. Just don't eat up every word from the defense. Don't forget what their job is. Their job is to create doubt. So don't eat as they're spoon feeding you. Don't, it's not an airplane. Here comes the airplane. Woo! Got your mouth wide open. Big spoonful of Odinism. Here it comes. Here comes the airplane. Woo! And everybody's like, yum, this is so good. No, you got to look at it. You got to look at everything. There might be a little bit of truth in there. There's just definitely no real evidence from what we see. But that could change, right? All right, guys. It looks like that's going to do it. Maybe we'll get one or two more. Oh, Corey England with the super sticker. Thank you, guys. Shout out to Scholler Steph. 5 Sleuth Intuition memberships gifted. Willow Rain with the 24-month flex. Abby's grandma coming through with the super chat. Thank you. Me, myself, and I hooking it up with 5 memberships. Peace Train coming through with a super sticker, sponsorship, super sticker from Audrey. Thank you. Then we have a 9-month flex from Boston. It's a big flex. And a Yankee Ghost with the super chat. And finally, Corey England. Thank you guys for supporting my channel. Appreciate that. Okay. We'll keep an eye on Dean. Thank you, CJK. We'll keep that in, we'll consider that. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Take care. Thank you for watching the Sleuth Intuition channel. If you are part of the replay crew, you know what to do. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay in the loop. Sleuth Intuition is 100% crowdfunded. If you want to support me and help my channel grow, here are 3 ways that you can help. Number 1, Cash App. The funds go directly to me without YouTube taking a percentage. Number 2, become a member. Members are by far the leading contributors to my channel. Number 3, hit up the merch shop. Represent the sleuth crew on these ruthless streets. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. Until next time, peace.